Struggling with racing thoughts and anxiety when dealing with an aggressive neighbor. I need help calming my nervous system. So you're dealing with racing thoughts, which is PTSD. So you're saying you got racing thoughts with anxiety because of an aggressive neighbor, but really you're dealing with PTSD from an aggressive neighbor. That's why you get the racing thoughts, because you're in PTSD land from this neighbor, okay? Okay, so you can do a lot of things. For example, I would create a light barrier around your dwelling, around your house. I would create a light barrier. So what I would do is I would lay there, because you know that neighbor has demons. Hands down, the neighbor has demons. If that neighbor is aggressive, that neighbor is filled with demons. Period. Did you guys ever listen to Angels, Demons, Spiritual Tools, Medical Medium, Angels, Demons? There it is right there. If you haven't listened, I'm going to forewarn you though, not for the faint of heart. You're going to find truth and wisdom, and it's not going to be like, it's not always satisfying to know how it works, especially with, there's demons around families, there's demons like family derms, it's called derms. You'll understand when you listen to that, but listen to that when you get a chance, if you can. I would create a light beam, a light wall, a light circle is what I would do. I would lay there in bed, or I would lay on the couch, lay on the floor in your living room. I would lay there and I would focus and envision light coming from above, coming down, surrounding your dwelling. And if your neighbor is pinned against the wall, on the other side of the wall, you know, your neighbor's on the other side of the wall and you're like in an apartment building and your neighbor's right there, they're banging on the walls or whatever, you're still getting that light to go down that wall. You want that light to drop down that wall. And you're creating a light barrier. Now keep in mind, you got to live your life and you're not going to be able to keep that light barrier there every minute, but you have to create it first and then you have to say, light. You're in the kitchen, you're working, you can't focus on the light barrier that you created, you're chopping food, you're eating, all of a sudden just say, light. So that light barrier comes back. Because it's already, you created it, you set yourself up with that light barrier, you put that light barrier there, and you can't keep after that, you can't mine and keep after that light barrier that you created every second. You got to function, you got to live your life, you got to do things, you got to work, but every now and then, be like, light, and envision that light barrier and let that light barrier come back. All it takes is just the word light to a light barrier you already created to recharge it and bring it back. Do you know what I'm saying? It brings it right back. All you got to do is say light. Do that to keep that neighbor's demons from affecting you, from upping your PTSD, from stressing you out, all of it. No one understands what that means. Nobody understands what that means unless they've had an aggressive neighbor. They will not know what it means. I promise they won't. It is an experience that is next to none, if that's even the way to say that phrase. It is quite an experience to have an aggressive neighbor. I think that, you know, a lot of people run into this. They run into this and they just love thy neighbor, and they try to have forgiveness for their neighbor, and they try to go into that forgiveness place and call upon Jesus Christ, and they pray, and they're like, I need to, they're into the commandments, and I need to make this right with my neighbor. But then it turns out that neighbor is just, you know, difficult. It's just really difficult, and it doesn't seem to remedy on any spiritual aspect, you know, on that level. It doesn't feel that way anyway, even though it can. But an aggressive neighbor is something that, unless you experience it, it's a whole nother thing.